Greetings! I am Herbert Erpaderp, and today I'm going to build these 15mm scale German Panther tanks by Plastic Soldier Company. The back of the box features a painting guide which could be handy. Included with the 5 sprues is this instruction sheet with basic assembly instructions and a parts guide to help you accurately build either the A, D or G variant of the Panther. Having a look at the sprue, we can see that everything is nicely cast and very neat. There are a lot of different parts for all the different variations of the tank that this kit can be used to make. The first step is, as always, magnetizing. Doing so with most Plastic Soldier Company kits is different to Flames of War models. Start by trimming the pin on the bottom of the turret so it doesn't protrude into the hull. Then, file the rough edges down and ensure that it fits and rotates freely. Then we can use superglue to stick a magnet inside the hull. Be sure the magnet is larger than the hole. Then a magnet can be glued to the inside of the bottom of the turret. Be careful with magnet polarity if you wish to swap turrets between your tanks or use magnetic destroyed markers. We can now start building the hull. Trim the lumps from the sprue gates off the hull top and bottom and glue both parts together. Then the rear of the hull can be glued on, after test fitting of course. You could also attach the hull sides before the rear. I don't think it actually matters. Be careful to choose the correct rear and sides though, that does matter. Now for the tracks. I don't particularly like this style of tracks. Start by trimming the flash from the parts. Something to note with these particular tracks is that they can be put on wrong. This track is on the wrong wheel set. The tracks are slightly off the wheel. Here it's on the correct wheel set. You can see that the track will sit closer to the hull of the tank. I wasn't paying attention and built one set incorrectly, because I'm a bad. Now to glue the tracks to the wheel sets. It does fit together quite nicely, but you will still have to hold the parts together for a while to avoid having big ugly gaps in the front and rear of the track assemblies. Next, I add the rest of the hull details. The hull machine gun, hatches, gun cleaning kit holder, exhaust system and some optional spare track links. Conveniently, they come in groups of 3 or single pieces. Finally, the tracks can be glued on. Be sure to hold them straight while the glue sets up. There we have it, one almost completed hull. Now onto the turret. The turret is pretty easy to build. After cleaning up the parts and test fitting, glue the turret rear into the main part and then glue the bottom on. Then the gun mantlet can be glued on. Be sure you choose the correct mantlet. Now onto the gun. It's pretty nicely cast with very minor mold lines. Unfortunately, the end is flat, so I drilled it out. This part is quite small and could easily be broken, so if you're going to do this, be careful. I didn't drill the hole too deep, just enough to have an opening. It makes the gun look much better. It can then be glued in place. Be careful to ensure that the muzzle brake is not at a weird angle. Finally, it's time to add the hatch. I'm building the G variant, which has the most complicated hatch. I started by adding enough glue for both the hatch and the machine gun rail thing. Then, glue on the machine gun. This part is quite fragile, so be careful. Finally, glue it into the hole in the turret roof and you've got one completed turret. There is one final optional part for the hull, the side skirts. You can of course put these on as a single piece, but you often see pictures of Panthers and other tanks with panels missing and damaged, and that's pretty easy to do with this model. Carefully clip the part into however many sections you want. I'm removing 2 from the middle, then tidy them up a little bit. For added interest, you could damage the edge of some of the panels with some pliers. The box art even shows damaged panels. I didn't want to go to extremes, so I just added a little bit of bending. Then you can simply glue the parts on. The full skirt has guide nubs on the back that will ensure a perfect fit, so cutting it in half removes that convenience, but the parts are easily positioned using the flat ledge along the side of the hole that the skirts should hang from as a guide. I think this is a great way to have some variation in your platoon of Panthers. With a tiny bit of effort, you can have some with damaged and missing panels, some with fully intact side skirts, or some with none at all. Overall, I quite like this kit. I continue being impressed with Plastic Soldier Company. It was quite easy to build. The only mistake I made was gluing one set of tracks together incorrectly, though in the end that will probably barely be noticeable. The only complaints I really have are about the track sets themselves. I just really don't like these kind because they're annoying to build. Also, the hull machine gun doesn't quite look right to me. Enough complaining. There's a lot of variety available in this kit. You can build 3 different variants of the Panther, which is really nice. There's options for crew, spare track, jerry cans, toolboxes, as well as the fun you can have with the side skirts. I probably won't be painting these for quite some time, but I think when I do get around to it, they will look very nice indeed. This is a really good kit and I would recommend it. I hope this has been helpful or interesting for you. Thanks for watching. Farewell.